So our main topic today is artificial intelligence. You can mute your audio and turn off your video till the question and answer at the end of the presentation. That may give you better performance if you have a slower internet connection. You can ask a question in the chat, and I'll look at those at the end of the presentation. For those online, the handout is out on the PC Club website, and I'm not sure, Jim may add it to the chat in a few minutes there. And for those online, you're also missing out. Paula has been passing around the chocolate tuxedo cake, so you're missing out on some cake there. Agenda. First, we'll talk about some club status. Thank you. We'll talk about club status, and then we'll get to our main topic. Future meetings. There's a MaxSig coming up January 24th at 11:30. So join Mike Griffin and the group. If you've got an iPad, an iPhone, a Mac, any Apple device, it's usually beneficial there. Then we hold online question and answer once a month, and that's coming up February 1st. And then our next general meeting will be web only. We won't be in person, but it'll be on photo organizing and sharing, where to store, and some tips and what I use to store photos. These are our officers. Jim's our president. Linda's our vice president. Paul's our membership secretary. Paula's our treasurer. Chuck's our recording secretary. Mike leads the MaxSig. Andrew is our communication coordinator. I'm Tom. I'm the director at large, and we couldn't do it without some of our volunteers there. Members old and new, Paul Ebert will send out a notice to your email when your membership expires. So we don't all expire the end of the year there. So some people are expecting notices this time, but depending on when you joined, that's your month when you will expire there. Your membership will expire. We don't want anyone to expire. Suggestions for topics, you can always email an idea or a topic. You can talk to any of the board members. We're always looking for people to volunteer to present on any hardware, software, maybe something that you do at work or at home. And if you don't want to present, we do have a monthly eBytes newsletter. We're looking for short or long articles that can be published there. PC Club survey, we just concluded that in late December. Thanks to the 44 people who filled out the survey, which is pretty good because I think our current membership is about 96 people. So that's almost half the people there, so thank you very much. We use it to make some important decisions, and I'll usually sprinkle different facts in some of the presentations, but I will be coming out with a formal document with the results of the survey in maybe another week or two. Website, we put the past meeting slides and handouts, and also most of the meetings we record them if possible. So if you miss one or want to revisit, you can go out there and see it. There's also a deal section. Our newsletter, our eBytes newsletter is also out there. And the link is shown here, but it's in all the emails that we send out also. Okay, our main topic today is artificial intelligence by myself, Tom Kreuzer. I did one kind of an introductory one back in 2023, 2 years ago. So if you missed that one and you want more of an introductory, that has a little bit more things. But certainly a lot of things have happened since then, and some of the implementations of the major vendors, and that's what we'll talk about today. The amount of data generated today outpaces humans' ability to absorb, interpret, and make complex decisions based on all that data. We're bombarded with the data from all sources. AI forms the basis of all computer learning and is the future of all complex decision making. This year marks the first time we all can have a truly human-like conversation with a computer. So they keep improving every year there. You can see kind of on this graphic, we're really at level 1. We're still at level 1. There's many more levels and breakthroughs, and both in software and in hardware to come here. What is artificial intelligence? So we'll do a quick refresher on that. Artificial intelligence was first defined in 1956 as attempting to make computers think and act based on the best available data. So AI has been around for a long time. It's just that several years ago you had this company, ChatGPT, come up with some software and some algorithms there to really do some incredible things. And the hardware is advanced to the state too. But to have AI, you need 3 things for there to be AI. You need computer, which is the hardware. You need data, and you need algorithms or code. Today we have massive computing power, whether it's on sites that we connect to or even our own devices there. We have an internet full of data, so whether it's things like Wikipedia, just all kinds of sources of data out there that can be loaded into these models. And for data that doesn't come from some of these sites like Wikipedia, there's sensors. So if you have a self-driving car or that's using sensors, and then it's using AI to figure out, well, I'm going to hit the brake, I'm going to hit the gas, I'm going to do things like that. So you have sensors and that collecting information from all over, data from all over. And then you have thousands of companies writing these algorithms now, which is really great. We're getting all this software that utilizes AI there. And I mentioned this, as far as the computing power, I grew up in the days back in the 60s when you were first getting transistors. So prior to that, you had tube radios, and then we moved into the transistor. Well, if you're not familiar, transistors are what are used in computer chips and CPU, and you have these and or gates and all kinds of fancy transistors in that. The current Apple M4 that you find in the iPhone, the high-end iPhone, has 28 billion transistors in it. Think about that, 28 billion transistors. That's the reason that we can do these magnificent and incredible things, is because the CPUs and the ability to process this stuff has just gone leaps and bounds. It's led to the creation of machine learning, deep learning, predictive analytics, and now prescriptive analytics. AI can answer questions on any topic, including finance, healthcare, technology, anything under the sun there. And if it doesn't have the data, guess what? You can create your own library, large language model, loading your own data in there, and you can start figuring out the cure for sub-zero temperatures in Minnesota. And I wish somebody would get right on that. Today we also have chatbots. And so chatbots, it's just one little section of AI, but certainly it's an attractive section to most of us who have phones and tablets and things like that. But there's chatbots that can provide mental stimulation and companionship using AI interactions in a conversational mode. Also, what it bodes for is if you've attended some of my future tech presentations in the past, one of the things that has always hindered computers is having to interface with a keyboard and having to interface with a display. Well, if you can use voice, that frees us to go faster, be better, just a whole slew of things. So we have that to look forward to. One of the things that I've heard or had people ask me and stuff like that is, what's the difference between an internet search and an AI interaction? So internet is using a small little, I mean, not internet. An internet search is using a small form of artificial intelligence to give you results. But the concept of a search is very much different than an AI interaction. So when you do a search, it provides you with a list of links to web pages, images, videos, and other types of content relevant to your search. Then you explore them on your own. A search is highly effective for finding specific information, navigating to a website, and accessing a wide range of resources quickly. So searches aren't going to go away, but for a lot of things that we do, a chatbot is much better and it provides a whole slew of benefits there. So a chatbot provides a conversation with follow-up questions. It remembers the context that you were talking, what you were talking about 5 minutes ago, or an hour ago, or yesterday when you were searching for things. It can remember all that. And it can provide personalized responses based on this ongoing dialogue. It can summarize content. It can generate creative ideas. It can provide writing assistant and thousands and probably millions of other things there. AI can help you not only find but also understand and utilize the information more effectively. So you may do a search around Christmas time. I was looking for gifts. Well, I could do a Google search and I could say, show me some gifts for a 10-year-old boy. And that's what I might put into a search there. Well, I can put that into a chat bot, but then I get some results back, and then I converse with the chat bot and I say, well, let's add a price limit of $100. Oh, let's only show me 4- and 5-star items that are out there. Oh, let's make a list. Oh, he's interested in computers. So you can have this conversation in the context of all of this information, and that is used to try and give you the best information possible that this chatbot has in its large language model. Yes?
Generating creative ideas. Not so sure. If in fact it's a unique idea, they're not going to find it because it's not in the literature anyway.
Wrong. Because you'll see in the demo that I do, I go in there and I say, generate some logos for the 3M Personal Computing Club. There is no personal computing club. Well, we do have a logo, but as far as the AI knows, there is none. It takes all these ideas, gets creative, uses some input that I give it, and generates something brand new that has never existed before out there.
How does it handle intellectual property?
The way it handles intellectual property, if you're talking about writing or songs or things like that, it's built with all this information. So if you're a content creator, I'd be very worried because a lot of these models have been built with information that is copyrighted, and that has to all be sorted out. But right now, it's available. Stuff is available there. But let's go on, and we'll cover some of the things that they aren't covered at the end there. Okay, so what is AI? To become good at a task, we as humans, when we're born, we have to spend years and years going to schools. We read books, we talk to other people, we apprentice, we intern, and much more to learn. So that's how we build up our knowledge in our brain there. An AI can acquire more advanced subject knowledge. It can respond in seconds. It can do it for free or at a fraction of the cost of humans. And that can be scary, and we talked about that in the first session. friend or foe? Is AI friend or foe? AI is far from perfect today. It makes errors. It's just like talking to a person or doing stuff. Well, everything that if I'm talking to a person about sports and let's say the Vikings, that person may not remember correctly or get their scores wrong or things like that. So it's not perfect. It depends on the data that was loaded, how full of errors that data is, and it sometimes spits out baffling results as a result there. AI doesn't have to be perfect to be useful today. It just has to provide us a better solution than what it's replacing. So in this whole scheme of things, it's really that case of we're at the very beginning and there's benefits to be had, or at least in my opinion, tremendous benefits to be had. Over time, it learns from its mistakes, so it's getting constant feedback. Yes, that's right. No, that's wrong. Changing the data that was used to load it and things like that. From me. So when I go out here and I get a response, it'll have a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If I do a thumbs down, then it knows that that's questionable there, and instead of taking path A to give a result, it'll take path B next time. And even I can set the tone when I'm conversing with the AI, whether I want it to be creative, which thinks outside the box, outside of results that it has, or I want it to be more exact. So you'll see some of that.
Where's all that memory gets stored?
A massive servers up there. And what you're also seeing is now the ability, and we'll talk a little bit later about that with like a new PC, I can buy an AI PC. That needs massive CPUs, that need massive memory. All of this will only get better. It only gets better. We're at that level 1 kind of starting there. And then I put this little deal, the English, better things are coming, keep calm and just breathe. Too many people are, AI is going to take over the world, take over all the jobs. No, that's not going to happen. Okay, so let's talk about some of these. And the 3 main players that we'll be interacting with on our devices, since we're consumers and we have these different devices and that, are Microsoft. Microsoft talks about its AI as CoPilot. And Microsoft made a conscious effort to use the word CoPilot. You're the one in charge. You're the one that's flying the plane. But it's nice to have somebody next to you in a seat that you can ask questions, that you can have do other functions, can look up information, can do things. So that's kind of where the CoPilot comes in. CoPilot isn't going to do everything. It's going to work with you to help you do things better. Apple calls theirs Apple Intelligence, and Google calls theirs Google Gemini. So we'll cover these 3 things, or 3 major players today. What you'll see is these 3, even though they're completely different companies, they're more alike than they are different, as you'll see, because a lot of the algorithms, the underlying models and where stuff comes from ChatGPT. Well, all of them are using a form of ChatGPT to load data in and get data out. Okay, so let's start out with Microsoft Copilot. Like I mentioned, think of it as somebody sitting next to you that's there to help you. You can choose not to use it. So in all of these new devices and all of these things, you can choose not to use it, but it's there if you want to use it. Microsoft created the AI chatbot CoPilot, and CoPilot is currently built into the operating systems of Windows 10 and Windows 11. It's available directly from the taskbar to do certain functions. It's built into almost all their apps to provide additional help and information there. It's available on the web. I could just go out to a website and get CoPilot by itself. It's available in the web browser. It's a mobile app that I can load on my Android phone or on my iOS devices. So it's kind of available everywhere, and it's additional links and functionality is getting built into almost everything in Microsoft Windows, as you'll see when we go through a little bit here. The basic version is free, or you can get a more advanced version by paying $20 a month to get additional features like integration with Microsoft 365. So if I want to use Microsoft 365 and I want it to help me write or create a PowerPoint or create an Excel spreadsheet, you can pay the additional money there.
You're obviously trying to monetize this is that the future for it?
Everybody wants to make money, so and if you don't do it, your competitor's going to do stuff and you're going to lose market share. So either you get with the trend or you're going to be left behind. And that. So you can interact with CoPilot using text, typing, or you can do voice commands. I talked a little bit earlier. You have control, and this would be true of CoPilot and all the others, to control the tone of the interaction. And so if you want that interaction to be just like you may have a friend that's very creative and artistic, and they can draw logos and they can do stuff like that, you can have it be very creative and imaginative there. Or you can say, I want you to be precise. Only tell me the response that is very accurate and brief there. Or you can say, I want it balanced. I want a little bit of both there for this particular task or what I'm working on. So you're in control of all this stuff. Through the Edge, the Microsoft Edge browser, there's a sidebar, and sidebar for CoPilot. So CoPilot can provide insights on your current web page in the browser with one click. CoPilot can generate different types of content. I can ask it to create poems, songs, stories, reports, computer code. It can write computer code. It can analyze uploaded photos. I can upload a photo and say, do you know where this is? It'll say, this is in Rome, Italy. This is if there's a building or a street or stuff like that, it analyzes the picture and is very good at doing things like that. It can analyze photos, artwork, and other images. CoPilot's designer can create a new logo, drawing, or other image based on text or uploaded images. So let's take a little look here. So let me see if we can do this. So I'm opening up the Microsoft Edge browser. This is the Edge browser. I've gone out and I was searching for passkeys, some information on passkeys, and found this article from PC Magazine on passkeys. And it's a rather long article, and maybe I don't want to read it all, but I want a summary of it. I can go up here, top right corner. That's where CoPilot is. CoPilot's ready to help me right built into the browser there. So I can go in here, and you'll see it says create a summary. So I'll click one button here, and it'll summarize everything from this page out on the website. So here's a summary. Sure thing. Here's the main points from the article on passkeys. Goes through. Even gives me the footnotes for reference there. This is where I can say, yeah, that's a good response that you did. No, that's a lousy job that you did. And that changes the model. I can also copy this. So if I wanted to send this information to somebody else, or I want to put it in a presentation that I'm doing, I can copy, I can do anything with it. So you have a lot of power, just one click, and under a second I can summarize and I can do anything in here. So that's one way to get at CoPilot, and I could go down here and I could start doing an interaction with it or stuff like that. But let's let's say you're not using the Microsoft Edge browser in Windows, and I'm currently on a Windows 10 machine, so this is an old machine, but it does have the current version of the operating system for Windows 10. I can bring up CoPilot. It's an icon down here. So I can bring up CoPilot here, and if I want, I can pull up some past interactions that I've had. So this is so my past interaction. I mentioned what's the difference between search and an AI. Well, here, suggest a gift for a boy 10 years old. This is what it starts suggesting here. Then I can say, well, limit it to $100. Okay, then it gives me another list, limited. Make it 4 or 5 stars. Make a list, interested in computers, and it further defines that. And I can have this dialogue back and forth with the AI to find more information. And if I wanted more information on one of these, I just ask it for more information there. So I can easily do things.
Are these influenced by sponsors?
What do you mean
Like Lego company or other companies?
Probably just the same way. Well, except if you're saying 4 or 5 stars from a particular rater, then it's only 4 or 5 stars from that rater. So it's not. It's like doing a Google search there, the equivalent of doing a Google search.
Which has like all the sponsors on top.
Well, yeah, it's different than that.
Okay.
But in terms of if I'm if I'm asking for information, let's say on passkeys, I'm going to ask for information from PC Magazine. That's going to limit it to PC Magazine. It's not using information from any other source there.
Okay.
So, it's kind of like looking in a magazine. Well, what magazine did you get it from, and were they getting paid, or how did that work there? So yeah, you can do stuff like that. The other thing is, let's say here's that creating a logo. So I can go in here and I just asked it, create 4 logos for the PC club, should have a computer and tech. And this is what it came up with. Again, not copying it from any existing source, although it's using elements. It knows that logos should look a certain way and maybe take some of the text and put it in and
It looks like it's avoided the real 3M logo.
I doubt that. That's just how their generative AI is working.
That's one of those 30 or 40 years old.
Close. It's close.
See, here's a red 3M logo here. And you'll notice, again, there's errors. I don't know if we can't read this. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, but you'll see errors in generating. And there, I don't know what this is, but you can. That's just a small example of generating something, and you can generate things in here. I can use the Paint program in Windows, and I can have it generate a cat. I think I showed before in the first presentation, 2 cats on a park bench wearing hats with a spaceship in the background, and it drew that image for me. No, because this is 2-dimensional. A photo or a graphic is 2-dimensional there. I'm sure there's 3-dimensional that you can get out there and pay money for. So there's all these other models to do all kinds of things. But okay, so we've got this, and I'm just bringing up some of my others for the sake of time. We could interact with it, or I can just talk to it. So let's do this.
Hey Tom, how can I lend you my virtual hand today?
Well, I'm at the 3M Personal Computing Club presenting on artificial intelligence.
That's awesome, Tom. AI is such a hot topic right now. What's the focus of your presentation?
Oh, showing some samples of how Microsoft and Apple and Google implemented AI.
Very cool. It's fascinating to see how each tech giant brings their own flavor to AI. Are you focusing more on their approaches, their products, or both?
They're products that they're currently delivering.
Great angle. Showcasing their current products really brings AI's impact to life. Are you highlighting any standout examples from each company?
Yes, I'll be showing some, but before that, why don't you say hi to the group?
Hello 3MPC Club. It's an honor to be part of your anniversary celebration. Enjoy diving into the world of AI with Tom.
Someone want a female voice.
You can change the voice, go into the settings, you can change it to, in this case,
Mom, I kind of like that one.
I did too.
I prefer this. Hello.
Yes.
Okay, what's your name? Oh, this one's having. Well, we won't. We've got a lot to cover. I'm going to close this because you can play with it on your own, and I highly recommend. Doesn't cost you anything, and you can. What's that?
It costs you time, but.
Well, no, it's up to their.
And the thousands of pings you get from advertisers that are tied into the algorithms of what you're searching on.
Yeah, so that we'll talk some more about Microsoft and how it's implemented some of this stuff. So we'll hold the questions till the end because otherwise we won't get through it here. The next notepad includes a slew of changes in AI for Notepad. If you've ever used Notepad, it's a simple text browser. Well, now they're turning it into a full-fledged word processing package there with AI built into it. So within, let's go here, see if we can pull up this review or blog. Well, before we get to the deal, Microsoft Paint is a graphics tool. It's free with Windows and comes installed there. What you have in there is you can type in anything that you want. It'll generate an image and it'll let you put it on any other image. So I can put an image on top of any others. Now these are things that you could do in, let's say, Adobe Photoshop there. It might have taken you hours to do, to feather in, to blend it in and stuff like this. This is doing it in microseconds there. And it's free. This is all free, built into the Windows operating system. Instead of generating, you can erase. All you have to do is use a big eraser there, and it'll erase it. And again, these are things that you could do in other packages, but usually were complex and not so good a job. Now it's just child's play for anybody there. This is Notepad, the next version of Notepad. So if I highlight a sentence that I typed in Notepad here, one of the things I can do is I can expand on this information, so I can make it longer, I can make it shorter, I can change the tone of the sentence, I can change the format of the sentence. And if I don't like these examples, I can replace it with 4 other different examples. And so this is that CoPilot sitting next to me, helping me do these things as I'm going around. So anywhere that I start entering in text, I'm going to have all these options of it can help me. You don't have to use it. Obviously, you can still type and do everything that you've done in the past, but now you have help to do these things. So let's go back here. Paint, that's what we saw the little deal there. You can do generative fills. You can add different objects, visual effects. If you want stars or cats or things like that, you can keep, you can try, you can erase. You can do all these things just point and click. Photos, Microsoft Photos has editing features to blur the background, to pinpoint the image focus, creating new galleries and manage your photos. It has options in there now. Microsoft also has a video editor called Clipchamp. Clipchamp doesn't come installed in Windows 10 or Windows 11. If you do want to edit your videos, just go out to the Microsoft Store. It's free to download, and it'll work with 1K video resolution. If you want a higher resolution, you're going to have to pay $12 a month for the premium version. This tool has a continuously updated features to create high quality videos without needing advanced skills. So editing, similar to doing photos, except editing, if you've ever done video editing, can get very complex. The AIs are making it easier and easier. CoPilot can help with certain features, settings, and even apps. As an example, you can tell CoPilot to turn on battery saver mode, show me the Bluetooth page, launch the screen magnifier, show me all the nearby Wi-Fi networks, or empty the recycling bin. So the days of having to click on the settings, go through the menu to try and find where a setting is, I can now converse with the AI, and it'll go in and actually make that change in the operating system. And that's where you're getting integration with all these different features and functions there. CoPilot can expand its capabilities. So let's say Microsoft isn't giving you enough features and functions. You can go out, there's websites out there where you can load additional GPTs and plugins. And those plugins can be skills like a designer. I'm designing a house, and Microsoft currently doesn't have much in the way of that capability. Well, there's plugins that you can pull, and it'll help you design houses and ask you questions and build things there. If you're planning a vacation, it can do that. Cooking assistants, fitness trainer, all of these are free, available to download. This I mentioned, you may have seen CoPilot Plus. CoPilot Plus is a branding that Microsoft is using for new PCs. So you'll see new PCs available out there from HP and Dell and others there that are branded CoPilot Plus. This just means that the PC has advanced AI power built into the hardware on the machine. And mainly it's bigger CPUs, because if you're going to try and do these things locally without going up to the internet or things like that, you need tremendous amount of speed, you need memory, you need all these different things. And I mentioned in here, I think we talked in the first time a little bit about recall. Recall was a feature that Microsoft was really, really neat. As you're using your PC, every 15 seconds, it takes a screenshot of your screen, analyzes it, puts that in a database such that a week from now or a day from now or whatever, you could go back and you could say, oh, gee, I was creating some 3M logos. Can you pull that up? And it'll pull that up because it has all that in its memory. But in order to do that, if you can imagine, every 15 seconds analyzing, capturing, and putting that information there takes a lot of horsepower, and that's why you have these CoPilot Plus branded PCs. Okay, so that was kind of an overview of what Microsoft is doing. Let's talk about what Apple is doing. And Apple brands theirs as Apple Intelligence, or AI. They added features to their operating system, 18.1, and also to the Mac OS 15.1, with new versions and new features and functions rolling out almost monthly. So Microsoft and Apple and Google, there's new stuff rolling out almost monthly there. Microsoft has writing tools, and these writing tools, similar to what we talked about in Microsoft there, are available virtually anywhere to help you write, including when you're creating mail, a text message, notes, pages, or third-party apps. It'll rewrite. The rewrite option allows the user to choose different versions of what they have written and adjust the tone, whether you want it professional, concise, or friendly, to suit the audience at hand. It goes beyond proofreading and grammar checks and word choice and sentence structure, and it'll also suggest changes that you make along with explanations of the edits that it's suggesting. so that users can review and quickly accept. Users can also select text, have it summarized in the form of a digestible paragraph or bullet points or a table or a list. Notification summaries is also a new feature that was available in these versions. Allows users to scan long or stacked notifications with key details right on the lock screen. So if you're in a text message and you're texting back and forth between a number of friends and family there, and you don't want to read them all, this can summarize. It'll summarize the conversation and bring you up to date without you having to read everything there. So that's what it's kind of built in there. It also has a new focus to reduce interruptions, surfaces only the notifications that might need immediate action. So if you're getting hundreds of emails or hundreds of text messages, it can prioritize how you work with them. Siri has become more natural, flexible, and deeply integrated into the system experience. Apple Photos supports natural language search in photos or videos. So if you have your photos stored there, you can say, show me all the photos that have a cat in them. Or show me the photos that have a particular person in there. So without you doing any work, it can find that for you. It can also remove an unwanted object or person with the cleanup tool. The memories feature will create a movie by simply typing a description of what you want this movie to be. It'll go through your photos, pick them out, and put it in the form of a movie. It then picks out the best photos and videos, crafts a storyline with chapters based on themes and different photos, and arranges them in a movie with its own narrative. Priority messages in your email shows you the most urgent emails, like a same-day invitation, lunch, or a boarding pass. See short or long summaries without needing to open a message for long threads. You can tap to click Summarize to view the pertinent details, just like we did in Microsoft for the web pages to summarize. You can do all these things at different points there. Smart Reply provides suggestions for quick responses and will identify questions. In Notes and Phone app, you can now record. So it can record your telephone call, and it can transcribe that, and it can summarize it. So when a recording is initiated while you're on a call on the phone app, participants will automatically be notified that they are being recorded. And once the call ends, Apple Intelligence generates a summary to help recall key points. And I think they had a commercial that I liked that showed a student in a class at college, and he had his computer open there, and it was transcribing what the professor was saying. The student was fast asleep. This was transcribing and summarizing everything, and he didn't have to take any notes at all. We call that Apple Intelligent, not student intelligent. In Safari, when viewing a page where the reader feature is available, tap the page menu button in the address bar, tap slow reader, and then tap the summarize button at the bottom of the page. So this will summarize just like the Microsoft does there. You also have Gen Emoji. You can create new emojis based on your description. So as if there weren't enough emojis, you can create your own variations. Image Wand turns sketches and handwriting into typed notes. So if you were in class or in a meeting at 3M and you sketched a few ideas and drew some things out there, it'll take those sketches and digitize it. Turn the handwriting into notes, turn the, if you had sketched out a picture of a house or that, it can put a house in there. It can clean that up and make it more professional there. Image Playground.
Does it know how poorly I can write something?
It'll learn. So that's part of that learning there. Well, and if you've ever used speech recognition, it's kind of the same concept. Everybody speaks a little bit differently. So the early speech deals, you had to train it. You had to go through and tell it, and then it knew, well, this is the way you pronounce this, and this is the way you say your T's and your F's and S's. So similar type of deal, and that's the beauty of a lot of these AIs is, and I know people are scared of it because they say, well, the only way to know these things that I've talked about in the past is it's collecting all that information. You betcha it's collecting all that information. That's to your benefit. If you don't want it to collect anything or don't want it to know about you, you don't have to let it collect the information. You don't have to use the functions. But personally myself, I want to use the power, and I wanted to know the history, and I wanted to know websites that I've been out to, and things like that. So there's tremendous benefits there. Visual intelligence lets you point your camera at something like a dog. Your iPhone will then use the photo search to identify the dog or identify the plant or do things like that. This feature can also detect phone numbers. If you're up on a wall or somebody wrote it somewhere, it can capture that and add it to your contact list, scanning QR codes. All of this is similar to what we've had on Android for years with Google Lens, if you've ever used Google Lens and that. But again, they're all have similar features and functions there. Apple will always say, "Oh, we're protecting our users. Come to the fold. Pay us lots of money and come to our fold, and we'll protect you." And so Apple does stress privacy. That's part of the reason when I mentioned like the CoPilot Plus PC, the Apple M4 chip, and Apple is trying to do as much of that AI on the local device and not have to send it up to a server or another service. So Apple Intelligence will use on-device processing if it can, meaning that the model then turns and that. So it's trying to protect it, but don't fool yourself into thinking that your information is not being bought and sold and available through some of these other models and that. So should 3M use this to design things? No, because essentially most of this stuff is up there. You'd have to create your own models, 3M models, where the data never left 3M and only resided internally. Okay, let's talk about Google a little bit. Google created an AI chatbot known as Bard. It was renamed to Gemini. Gemini is the twin, so it's like having a co-pilot. So they all want to, you've got this helper that's there to help you at any time there. It's available on the web and as a mobile app or an Android app or an iOS. The basic version of Gemini is free, or for $20 a month, you can get the Google One AI Premium plan, where you get 2 terabytes of storage up on their server, plus integration with Gmail, Docs, and more. Google Search. Gemini is embedded at the top of many Google search results. So let's go out here if I can. Where am I here? Let's go out here and let's open up a new page. And what are passkeys? We'll just ask it. Oh no, I didn't want what. Didn't want the time. Yeah, if I could type here. So I asked it, what are passkeys? And Google, sometimes the AI result will be right up at the top. Sometimes it's after some of the sponsored things. So these are sponsors. These pay money to Google to show up there. But then you'll see here's Gemini, and Gemini, the AI there, telling me what are passkeys there. So I can use these results and I can show more and I can dive into it and I can open it up and I can do things. And I can go to articles, I can expand on it. So you have all these options, just like all the other chat bots and things that you have there. Google Messages, you can draft messages, you can brainstorm ideas, you can plan events, you can converse, etc. Google Photos app has a magic eraser, has the photo blur, things like that. So that's where I was saying these things are more alike than they are different. So Google Photos, and I'll be talking about that a little bit at our next presentation on organizing and editing photos. But you have a magic eraser. Here I can take out, let's go back here. Let's go here. Take and move it, matter of seconds, remove. Let's get rid of the trash can. Unblur, you started out with a blurry photo there. Let's sharpen it up. So, you know, all these different things you're seeing in these different photo packages and stuff like that. And this is Google Photos. Google Photos is free. Again, works on all the different devices and stuff like that out there. Google Add Me, so they are making, I just mentioned this because they have an option in their Google Pixel deal to add you to, if you own the phone, I could add myself to any picture that I want with literally one click there. Otherwise, I'd have to cut it from another area and paste it to another area. Google Cloud offers free usage of many AI products. And they have monthly limits. So there are transcription services, text-to-speech, natural language, and video intelligence. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. I gave a presentation to the 3M Genealogy Club, and I mentioned to them, because one of the women had, she had a bunch of documents that were in, I think they were in Italian or French or something like that. I mentioned go out and have them converted. You don't have to find somebody that knows the language. You can do it here for free. Also, if you had gone, let's say, and interviewed from a genealogy, you had interviewed a parent and you had gotten kind of their life story. You had captured stories and stuff like that. Instead of it just staying on the cassette tape or however you recorded it there, I can now transcribe that into a Word document or put it in a book and add pictures and do things like that without me having to listen to it and type down. If I'm in a 3M meeting, like we talked about with a student in class, it can be transcribing everything that's being said there right into a document that you can later review.
Accuracy is getting better.
The accuracy, for the most part, it depends on how clear it is, but certainly, just like when I was interacting with voice there with the CoPilot, you know, the early voice had all kinds of problems if we go back 20 years ago. Now, I have no problem at all conversing with it. Now, if you're in a room with ambient noise all around, that can be a harder problem there to isolate.
What's going to happen with other languages, particularly pictograms, Chinese?
Pictograms,
Do you think the Chinese are going to develop their own?
Well, I'm just as evidenced by something like Google Translate. Just you can use Google Lens on Chinese, and it'll translate it to English for you. Right there live.
Yeah, you can even get Google glasses. I could be wearing the Polaroid glasses for $299, and I'm talking to you, and you're talking back to me in French, and it's translating into my ear as the person speaks the English. That's the power that you have in a lot of these things.
Have you tried? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. 26,000 at least pictograms, Chinese pictograms.
I guess what we run into on packaging or what you might find in a newspaper or something is more limited. It's got the data set that it knows how to do it.
Is 3M going to prohibit use of AI?
No, they shouldn't. They should control the use of AI.
We have a.
Yes, there's
We have one called Navigator.
yeah, there's Navigator for the internal 3M, and then it's like, yes, do not take 3M information, period. It's like, just say 0 so they don't have to worry about what's proprietary or not. You don't take it outside the 3M environment, go to Google ChatGPT, ChatGPT on Google or something, ask it, here, using this information, blah, blah, blah. But
All of these models that we talked about, if you put any information into them, the fine print says that they're using that information and it goes on to build the model and to do things. So you definitely do not want to put any information that is confidential, proprietary, anything like that. But as an example, I was a programmer at 3M. I can go out and I can use all kinds of services to do programming, to generate programs and reports and things like that. That's not proprietary. So if I put in a request and it generates code, no problem at all there. But if 3M wants to create their own model and says, this is a model of all the different types of reports that we have in SAP, now all of a sudden it can limit just to 3M employees who has access to that, what data they're going to get back, how it's going to look. So you can control it. You can build your own boundaries and things like that of where your data goes and how it's used.
How do we restrict babies, forbidden words, images that are not supposed to be published? How do we handle all that?
Not very well. How does the internet in general do it?
Everything everywhere.
And I'm, I would agree with you that there's, well, it's a whole nother discussion, the COPA Act and stuff like that. But as far as limiting stuff, the biggest problem I have is who makes the decisions. I don't want anybody making decisions other than me. I'm a human being. I can make my own decisions there. And so as far as is an image offensive, who's making that decision that it's offensive? And if it is offensive, are you trying to whitewash it so nobody sees a swastika or something like that? No, that's part of history. So you're right. Freedom of speech. There's some fine things. That's not an AI issue. That's an internet issue. And then okay, you have all these things that people think are clean out on the internet, but you do have the dark web. Anything at all is out on the dark web because government, nobody controls the dark web. So the dark web is always out there, is always available. But I guess getting back, AI, some people initially they were talking about trying to put some guardrails and some things there. Well, I sure as hell don't want our federal or state legislature making decisions because, frankly, they're a bunch of idiots, and I don't want them deciding what they think. Because they can't even get together and decide to come to a session.
I saw an AI image and we requested a modification of that particular image, and it generated another one of a human being with 4 legs. How did that happen?
Because what you're doing here is we're in the infancy of a lot of these things. We're at level 1. So when you say, draw me an image, is this person a Picasso? No, or this AI is not a Picasso there. This person has limited knowledge. And so when it draws a hand or it draws a foot, you may end up with multiple feet. You may end up with multiple eyes. It's not perfect. It's getting better, though.
What about Claude? What happened to Claude?
Claude is gone. I mean,
Gone?
well, technically, there's chatbots out there. There's 1,000 chatbots out there. These are the ones from the main, people are familiar with Microsoft and Apple and Google. They're the ones winning the battle, I guess I'd say there. They're the ones that are defining the operating systems. They're the ones that are defining the features in these various packages. And you're just seeing every time you turn around, there's new AI features built into these different operating systems. Now, some of them people like, some of them people hate. I mentioned recall, where it's taking the screen image. Well, a number of people said, I don't want it doing that. I don't want anyone to possibly know what I'm doing and that on the computer. And you can turn it off. But you also have this case of I mentioned Apple. Apple in its latest version would prioritize your emails. Well, Google started that 5 years ago. If you remember 5 years ago, if you had a Gmail account, all of a sudden all your mail was not in your inbox. Google had used AI to segment it out into important, into social, into promotions, and it started segmenting things out, which ticked off a lot of people, and a lot of people were looking in their inbox and they go, I didn't receive an email from you. Well, it went to your important because that was a friend that you had, and we're doing things. So
how's it being handled in the lab notebooks?
that I don't know.
It's electronic lab notebooks that we're doing now. It's been for years now. We've been over to the electronic lab notebooks. We're not. So yeah, you don't have to worry about having it transcribed. I think the interface could be a lot better, but we haven't had paper notebooks for 4 or 5 years. At most. No, yeah. Should be. I'm gonna have to let them know.
Oh, Hal,
Yeah,
one of them has to let you off there.
Otherwise they'll scream at us. But.
Otherwise, we'd have the police would be coming after them. Any online questions that people have? You can either put it in the chat or unmute yourself, or.
I hear a lot about how much power from the power grid all this AI processing is taking. Is there any truth to that?
I didn't hear the last part. What?
How much power it takes to do the AI processing? Is it true that it's a lot?
Yeah, the power. If you're not familiar with these CPUs, whether it's the M4 or the equivalent in the Microsoft world is the Snapdragon processors. They consume a tremendous amount of power, and it's not going to go away, because if you want to build these large models and do things, you're building what's called neural networks and things like that. Well, that means processing the data and putting it into these kind of giant databases and stores and the ability to get that. And that's going to only require more and more space and more power. Now, moving some of that power down to the computer, it hasn't alleviated it, it's just moved it there. And we were in a cycle where the laptops were getting smaller and cheaper. You didn't need large hard drives, you didn't need CPU because you were doing things on the internet. Well, now if you want to do things locally on your machine, you're going to need to spend a lot more money on CPUs and hard drives and things like that. So it's changing. It's a dramatic change from where we were headed a few years ago there.
And not at the personal computer level, but at the data center and power plant, having to build new power plants to provide enough energy for all the computing that the data centers are doing to process the AI.
Yeah, and if you followed it a little bit, that's where Bill Gates wants to reactivate out at 3 Mile Island one of the nuclear towers that was decommissioned. It wasn't the one that melted down, but they want to reactivate that and use the power there specifically for AI there. And so there's going to be a lot of debate. The other thing that's got to happen too is right now, as we talked, a lot of the stuff is free to do. Well, there's actually a cost. There's a tremendous cost in the CPUs and the storage and the bandwidth to get the information and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how much of this stuff they can keep free, or are you going to see more and more $10, $20 a month to get this feature and this function? What's going to happen there? But at some point, you can't keep pumping billions and billions of dollars and not getting a return on the investment there.
Hence the ads right now. Right? Oh, you're interested in this? You're going to be interested in this?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Tom's getting a bunch of stuff for 10-year-old boys for the next year.
Here's your gift idea. So maybe you'd like to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Is there a voice active, like the Hey Siri, is there a voice activation for a chatbot, or do you always have to type in a question?
It depends. Yeah, the question, I'm sorry I haven't repeated everything, but the question was, is there a trigger word or an activation that you can use to get a chatbot? Well, Microsoft has chosen not to do it. So the ways that I was showing was the ways that you currently use it. If you recall in the past, we had the, what was Microsoft's, I forgot even the name.
You want to go back all the way to Clippy? Or?
No. This was the voice. You could activate it in Windows and it would be listening and you could have it. They chose not to go that route. Apple chose to go that route. So Apple took its AI, and because people hated, or hate's a strong word, disliked Siri, they rebranded Siri as the Apple AI interface. So that's how you can do a chatbot there. But even on there, if I have like an Alexa device, well, I can go out to my Alexa device and I can activate any of the chatbots from there. So if I wanted to talk with CoPilot, if I wanted to talk, I can connect to one of those services and talk to it there. Okay? Other questions, comments? To me, it's an exciting time because just to see how far we've come so fast in the last couple of years with AI, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Getting these capabilities built into systems, making jobs, and when I say jobs, one of the questions I have for people is I say, what do you use your computer for? If you tell me what you use your computer for, I can show you or tell you how to make your life easier. The genealogy club, I had to write what's it called, a bibliography or or not a bibliography, no, for myself.
A resume sort of thing. What's the word? I know now. I'm not.
Well, it's
a little bio.
It's the bio. I had to write a bio of myself for the genealogy. Well, I could have spent in the old days. I probably would have spent an hour or 2 hours collecting stuff, formatting it, and stuff like that. I created a biography or a bio there in 5 minutes using AI here. I said, create a biography. Here's some information about me. It filled in that information. Then it asked for more information. I typed that in. It continually added the stuff on and filled the stuff out.
But you still gotta put your notes in. You still gotta put born in St. Paul, Minnesota, in what year.
Yeah.
Yes, but the heading and the order and stuff like that, everything was taken care of for me automatically. That I normally I would have gone out there and looked for a sample and then modified that,
Oh, that way, sure.
and I would have ended up with something, but it probably would have taken me an hour or 2 hours to do. I was able to do in 5 minutes.
One day, I was feeling a little lazy, and I'm like, I asked it to create, I asked Navigator, the 3M one, create an exciting announcement, and I just put in the title, the time, the whatever, and it did. It was really nice.
You
I
can,
was very happy.
so Paul was saying it created an announcement with just a few words and stuff like that.
Exciting announcement.
Exciting announcement. You can also, so you can create Word documents, things like that. It can create a whole presentation for you. So if you say, I want a presentation on this particular topic, it can do that. And then you can go in and modify and add and delete and stuff like that. Well, there's that concept of the CoPilot, somebody doing some hard work for me. It may not be perfect, and certainly you want to proofread things and you want to go in and add and make some changes, but instead of it maybe taking hours or days or stuff like that, you should be able to cut that time down now with all of this. And whenever I wanted an image in a presentation, I'd go out and I'd do a Google image search. Well, now I can go to these and I can get exactly what I want, typing a few words there, and I don't have to page through hundreds, if not thousands, of images to copy and paste into a presentation or that. So it's anything that you're doing, AI is going to be able to help you, and it's only going to get better. Right now, it may not be exactly what you want, but I guarantee in most cases it's going to save you time, it's going to save you effort, and a month from now it's going to be better. A year from now it's going to be even better. Things are just going to continue to improve there. This is the revolution. So they talk about computers being available. That was one version of the revolution. The internet coming. That's another version of the evolution. AI is another one. And in my opinion, and a lot of industry people say, this is the biggest change. AI is the biggest. It's bigger than computers. It's bigger than the internet because the potential is unlimited. Okay, we've gone over quite a bit there.
Just so Hal
Hal just left.
Yeah, that was Hal just left. Hal has left the building. I'm sorry, I can't open the door.
wasn't it Hal?
Yeah, it was Hal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Dave was the one asking Hal.
Hal was the computer. And I think they actually had an acronym of what it meant, but each letter is one before IBM. H before if. Little trivia thing there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was really how it was created, but it's a good observation otherwise.
Okay, well, thanks for joining. Next month we'll talk about organizing photos. Thanks. Bye.
And using AI, no doubt. It's part of it. I was actually, there is some stuff where I hadn't turned on. You can turn on